gentlemen, let's hear it for our beautiful flag bearers.
I want them to be cheering along with the television set. I want them to feel the ups and the downs. I want their hearts just to go crazy when they see that helicopter take off.
Barrel number 1 is in, barrel number 2.
This has been a really dynamic year for Amy, and I feel like there were some challenges presented that she has never faced in her life, and for me, portraying Amy, it was the best challenge that could have ever been thrown at me.
I'll be right back. I love you.
Amy, hey. Hey.
Ty?
Hey.
Ty? Ty?
I'm right here, Amy. I'm right here. What's going on? Nurse? Nurse?
When Amy starts doing really well in her life, he feels like, hey, I'm not pulling my weight. I need to step up. So he links a bit of these past fears from his childhood to his present, and he gets too caught up in it, and he loses sight of what it's really about, the relationship. It's kind of his last chance to actually get some money and really come through on what he wants to provide for Amy.
Let's have a toast.
What's the occasion?
I'm in. Let's buy Charger.
Look, you won't regret this.
Better not.
This is just crazy. Can't believe I'm gonna own a futurity contender. Here's to a big payday.
The last few episodes leading up to this finale, we're putting them through a couple of rough spots, to say the least. I mean, Amy's wondering if she can ever trust Ty in the way she always has, and anything like this puts a strain on any relationship. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that.
I've been thinking a lot about Charger, and I'd like to take a look at him, see if there's anything that I can do to help. I can come by the arena tomorrow morning.
I don't understand, Amy. What about your job with Ahmed?
You let me worry about him.
Okay, well, what about us?
One thing at a time.
When we're just so far from home, all we know is the unknown. Where do we go from here?
My favorite horse to work with, you're gonna see him today. I love Stormy, who plays Spartan. He's probably my favorite horse, but I've got a new favorite that I just fell in love with a couple days ago. His name's Hi-Fi, and we've never used him on the show before, but he plays the role of Charger, who you're gonna see as a barrel horse, and he's my ultimate favorite. So when I'm riding him, I'll come by and say, "This is Charger, this is my new favorite horse."
We knew we had to have a crowd, and we know we have some pretty loyal fans, and it was fantastic, the response. Within minutes, we had our crowd, and we had the people that were the biggest fans. So I think we discovered at our charity event this summer how many people were willing to travel to be here and to see our stars and to see our crew at work. And I think it's fabulous for them to see behind the scenes. And I think that for us, it's just so great to hear the cheering, because I kind of feel it's real.
It was great. they were some of the best fans we've ever had on the show. Really enthusiastic and really excited, and got to meet a bunch of them after they were done and take pictures and stuff. So that was really cool that we sort of had a win-win with that, where they were really great and helped us out, and then they also got to see a part of the show and how we make it, and we sort of got to bring them into our world and show them a piece of that, so it was cool.
It was so exciting having 300 fans fill the stadium, because it's one of those things that typically we do our job and there's the crew around, but we don't see a reaction to the episodes until they air. Well, having people here in the audience was like doing a live performance, and it was really cool to be able to go over things with them and say, okay, this is why we do it this way, this is the process, and now we're going to move on and we're going to do this, but that's only because we've accomplished these steps. And so kind of talking it through with them, and I loved having them there just to say, okay, this is what we do every day, and this is why we have so much fun, but it's also a lot of work.
We shot in this arena for 2 days before, and we shot it as is, sort of like in its natural state, and we wanted to transform it into an event. So it feels like, you know, Hudson's putting on a big show for the $100,000 futurity, so we wanted to transform it into kind of a sort of rock show kind of feel, like they made it a real event. So we sat down with plans of the arena and talked to Rick Roberts about what he had in mind for the backdrops and all that sort of thing, and then planned the lighting out. The guys came in and took 2 days and set it all up, and here we are.
It's just working along with the horse wranglers, back and forth, making sure we get the right horses selected for the riders and for the actors and stuff. It's an important thing because you need to have the real barrel racers that do this for a living on their horses matched up with our actress that is playing the star there, that has her horse, and make it so all the shots tie in properly for the director, and it keeps it exciting and real.
So for me as an actor, preparing lines and things like that really wasn't relevant for today, because there's not a whole lot of dialogue, it's all action based. So when I go through my scripts and I think about how Amy's feeling in each scene, because there's about 24 scenes in a very short period of time, then I want to make sure I can track that, because we're not shooting in order. We're filming, you know, maybe the scene that comes last, we're filming that first, and so on. So I want to just make sure when I'm doing my homework that I know where Amy's feeling and where her emotions are at each one of those points.
Just reviewing the script, reviewing the arc of the character, making sure that I'm hitting the beats that I want to hit with the certain storylines that we're going through. A lot of the work is done, for me at least. I do a lot of the work when we do the read-throughs in the scripts, just sort of arcing out where I'm going to go and what's going to happen and what's happening in each scene. So the day before, I just kind of review that and then just sort of tweak anything or think about anything.
So what happened last night?
Well, Charlene called me up out of the blue, asked me out. Turns out she just wanted to tell me that she'd be riding another guy's horse to the Bell Race on Saturday. Tried talking her into switching.
Did it work?
No, we should have had a good time.
Basically, what we just shot was a half hour before this. Now 30 horses are playing, and you're in the last pack.
Okay.
And Charlene is second last, you're last. And this is just a draw.
Our director, Dean Bennett, is incredible, and he's been here since the pilot, so he's been here from the very beginning, and he knows the heart of Heartland. He knows how to capture those emotions, and he's so great at working with us to accomplish that.
Dean is a painter. He is a visual painter, and he also is a real painter in real life, but in terms of cinema and TV, he's so good at painting, and he approaches everything like that, as like he has broad strokes, and then he does little, you know, designs, and then he'll see, oh, well, just try this, you know, see how this feels. And he's a joy to work with because he kind of gives you a framework to play with it, and he says, now play.
He really is a bit of an artist. We work really well together. I'm usually the writer of those scripts, and so we have a kind of a connection, I guess, so that he really knows what I'm looking for, and when I see what he's done, it's always so much better than I expected.
Do you want to watch the video with me?
Yeah.
Look how fast he is. It's unbelievable. Wait a minute.
What?
Look at this. Right there. You see how high his head is? There's no way he can see that first barrel. It's physically impossible for him with his head that high.
There's a lot of teamwork that goes into all of the scenes we do on Heartland. Heather typically writes all of the finales for the show, and They're always so full of emotion, so full of adrenaline. It's one of those things that you're going to laugh and cry and everything in between in the same episode.
And she's very good at that, creating sort of visual tension and really big scope of the Heartland world. And as you can see, we have this great pot of gold Racing Futurity signs.
Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for our beautiful flag bearers.
Oh, hey, turn it up.
Welcome to the Hudson Pot of Gold Barrel Racing Futurity Race.
What is she doing? How does she expect to win a race going backwards?
Well, folks, there's a tactic I've never seen before.
Nice and slow.
And I don't want people to ever feel that the show looks lit or looks like a studio or looks fake. It's got to feel real and it's got to feel like an event. And that, that's even the way we shot this. We wanted to light it in such a way that we could shoot the lighting and it was all kind of, it was visible to the audience, so that it's not like we were hiding a bunch of movie lights in the ceiling and then had to shoot around them. We just wanted to give everybody everything and make it feel real and make it feel like you walked into this event.
Craig does a great job of setting up the world that we film Heartland in. And he's come in here and he said, okay, so what do we want to accomplish? We want to see this as a big deal. We want to see it as a great futurity race. So let's bring in proper lighting that demonstrates that. And let's have the audience properly lit and featured. Let's have the horses properly lit. There is a spotlight above each one of the barrels. All the important components of the scene make up the entire world of Heartland, and it's so important that we achieve that.
I always like to look at him like he's like a Jedi. Like he's kind of like the silent but very skillful and tactful man that he would be able to say, like, these aren't the droids you're looking for, kind of thing. Like, oh, the light is perfect, right? And you would believe him because he's so good at what he does. And I'm not just saying that.
We didn't want it to look like a television show. We wanted it every week to look like a mini movie. And I think Alberta comes with that on its own. It's just beautiful, and to capture that beauty with the lighting and is amazing. He's brilliant.
That is just insane. Nicely done, fellas. Oh, that's good.
Amy had to win. It wouldn't have been a good season ender if she'd lost. But Amy is Amy, and I don't think she'd ever let anyone else win except her. So it's kind of fun to watch her rise to the occasion and do the part I like the best is when she does what's not expected and literally comes into the arena backwards. And that's her way of keeping that horse back. She understands the horse's psyche in a way that a lot of other people wouldn't, and that's the key to her winning.
I think everybody really looks up to Amy in the horse world because they know she's kind of a woman of all trades. She can do it all. And there's a little bit of a fantasy element to that, and Amy can do no wrong type thing. But at the same time, it's something that everyone can aspire to be like, because it's so great to be able to be versatile in all disciplines. And for me, you know, I ride primarily Western on my time off with my own horses, but I love jumping, and I love riding English, and I love barrel racing, and there's so many different elements. And the thing about Amy is she loves to try them all, and she never says, no, I'm just a Western rider, I'm not going to jump, or I'm not going to. She says, hey, sure, I'll try it. If it deals with horses, I can do it.
I think in the Heartland world, being myself, Graham, reading the scripts, I didn't think it was going to happen where he's like, oh my God, I lost, no. But in terms of the reality of the show that we're playing, I think, yeah, it's really intense. And I think him putting all his money on the line for this, all his savings, he's sweating bullets. He's really sweating bullets. And that's part of the thing that I want to work in this, that my character is really nervous and sweating bullets, but he doesn't want to show anybody that because he's trying to keep it under control.
I have something to tell you.
I have something to tell you, too.
Okay, you first.
Okay. Ahmed offered me a job on his team.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's hard to accept it, but it's also hard to turn that down. But I would never do it without your go-ahead.
You should go.
Really?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
It's only for a few months.
You gotta do it. You have to.
We'll make it work.
Absolutely.
And you let her go.
Amy and Ty are at a point in the relationship right now where they're a little bit unsure of the future. It's not that they don't want to be together, but they want to make sure that if they are going to be getting married, it's for the right reasons. And this episode kind of, it really tests the relationship, and it shows some great triumph, but it also shows some of that tension that, you know, is involved in any relationship, and you just have to figure out how to work past that.
He has a newfound awareness of his love for this woman and his care for this relationship, but also, what if this was to happen? How is this going to change? Like, how would I deal with this? So he really, in my eyes, what I've tried to do with him is really mature him in terms of how he sees his life, how he sees his relationship, what he wants for his life, what he wants in his relationship, and what's actually occurring, and the conflicts of all those things kind of coming together.
That horse turned out to be a winner after all. Looks like you did do something right, huh?
Thanks, Tim.
Hey, you're welcome. Not so sure you know what you're doing right now, but...
Over this season, in particular, I think he really grew up and matured, probably because of Amy's accident, but also because he's just more confident in his place in the world. Like, he's studying to be a vet, he has goals, he's in love with Amy, they're engaged. So his life has taken such a huge turn from when we first met him in episode 1 of season 1. So I can't wait to see where we're taking him next, actually, because it can only be in a direction that makes him even more mature and more able to cope with the world on every front.
Hey. We'll talk every day.
Absolutely.
I'll be back before you know it. I love you.
I love you too.
The prince has made a difference in Amy's life, and it affects Ty in a great way.
We have to get going if we want to stay on schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
I'll take good care of her.
You only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
I learned a valuable lesson at one point working on another show called Road to Avonlea.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
And it was that you make them laugh and you make them cry within like minutes, maybe even seconds. And an audience should feel like they've been dragged through a knothole by the end of an episode to make it really leave an impression, leave a lasting impression. So they're thinking about it the next day. I mean, that's the goal. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's pretty great.
And you let her go.